Here we go. I think that we're live. Y'all know I be tripping when it comes to these live broadcasts, but I just wanted to greet you all this evening and say hi and to just kind of talk to you about the things that are happening in Panama. Now, I'm a novice because, Panama, I'm still learning a lot about Panama. And at the end of the day, we're all novice as far as Black expats in Panama, right? And so my concern is that what I'm recognizing is that there is a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of hype, and I've seen some things that come out that I know some things are true and some things I just know are not true. And at the end of the day, I am really faced with the issue of not understanding Spanish. You get me? Because you watch the news and I'm like trying to pick out words that I know, right? And when it comes to something as important as protests throughout the country, which there have been protests going on since like end of May, or June, starting in Cologne, right?
That's
And
correct. Yeah.
on and on. And so at the end of the day, I woke up this morning or yesterday morning to a video that I know that I know that I know was a lot of hype, okay? And I don't want us to fall into that. The internet can be good and the internet can be bad. So at the end of the day, we need to have people, boots on the ground, people that we can trust, to give us the information that we need. And a few of you, I asked if you had questions. So a few of you said that you did. And so I have jotted some of those questions down. But in order just to help us understand what is happening right now in Panama, I have our tour leader, Teo Jolly. Teo is just an amazing professional, certified tour professional here in Panama. And he has about 20 years of experience in studying the history of Panama and sharing that knowledge with others. And so I thought, why not use our resources and talk to somebody who we know that we can trust to find out what is really happening in Panama. Teo is going to share with us tonight, just some historical references with regard to, protesting in Panama, how things go, and just kind of what we should be expecting right now and where we are. So, hello, Teo Jolly. Thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us. Always there for us, and I love you to pieces. And I just want you to talk to us about what's happening right now in Panama.
Hello, Charlotte. Nice to see you again. Always try to find and to share with other people the best of Panama. Thank you so much for inviting me to this. It's so important for me also could help people could understand a little bit what's going on in my beautiful country. First of all, remember that Panama is a nice country. It's one of the best places to be. For those of you that have shared with us in our previous tour, especially the relocation tours or the cultural day tour, I usually mention that Panama is a country where no matter how small you are or how small you is, your voice will be listening by all. And I usually use that phrase to describe that we live in a country where we have a democratic system and the people understand perfectly what that words mean. It means that you should listen to everyone. You should consider the opinion of everyone. But before we get down to this, we need to just to break down a little bit about the country because we is a very young country. Panama become to be a republic, remember, in 1903, But things didn't change for us. The United States started to build a canal, and it wasn't until 1977 when we was able to sign this treaty that say that in the year 2000 we will have sovereignty. But remember, to make that treaty in 1977 was signed, few things will happen before. And one of those things was a protest that goes on in 1964, January 9. This was the protest of the students that tried to walk in to the American zone, to Canal Zone, to raise the Panamanian flag beside the U.S. flag. Remember that in this occasion, President Eisenhower allowed Panama to raise our flag in 20 civilian places in Canal Zone, something that wasn't allowed by the American authorities in Canal Zone. This group of students, in something that comes out spontaneously, okay, they decide to walk with the flag into Canal Zone. Things wasn't that gentle in those days. You didn't have segregation in those days in Canal Zone. The kids was thrown out of the school. The flag wasn't raised. People in Panama City have seen this violent reaction from the students of Canal Zone. They start a huge protest that takes almost 3 days. Unfortunately, in that protest, you have 4 American police died and 21 Panamanian people died, including 16 students. This made Panama break diplomatic relationship with the United States and make the U.S. sit down and negotiate a treaty that 12 years after, okay, give us, okay, the
Recording
opportunity
in progress.
that in the year 2000, we will be a country with sovereignty. Now, because of being students leader this strike, before this, we did have strikes also against the military presence of the US. But the people learned with that protest that if you raise your voice really, really hard, the government will stop and hear you. Since we have a democratic government since 1990, we always have to protest and raise our voice against our authorities because this little country where we live is rich. It generates a lot of money, a lot of money, a lot of money. And people are always fighting with our legislators, with our authorities, and try to put pressure for them to take care of the basic needs that some people have. As you know, yes, we did have protesting in Cologne, and the reason why these protesting was in Cologne 2 months ago was that people from Cologne was demanding that the government activate the projects in Cologne that will generate jobs for the people in Cologne. We coming out from a pandemic situation, so everything was held up for a very long time. So the people from Cologne, they get desperate on the government and they start to protest for a little bit more than a week. That make the president have to go to Cologne and give instruction to start to activate some economic plans that will take money direct to the people, money that will get to them through jobs. That was what the people want. They was demanding the hospital of Cologne to be done. In this case, Charlotte, it happens that this president have three years have been in control of the government, and they have received or they have begged, they have asked for loans to different banks and international institutions. Panama have received in the last 3 years $28 billion in order to do social jobs, to reactivate the economy, whatever they say they will be doing with that money. The thing is that the people do not feel that the money is getting to them because things are getting more expensive. People, they don't have their jobs. The people that works in the farm, they have been experiencing that the products that they sell, okay, when they come to the city, they end up to be more expensive. we have a situation with medications. The medicines in Panama, they are very expensive. I mean, you have services, medical services in Panama that could be cheaper than in the US, but you have medicines in Panama that they're more expensive than what you could find them in the US. And the people are being demanding in a, you could say, in a polite way to the authorities to pay attention to these problems, and it did not happen. Um, Recently, we have a situation that we have 7 native Indian tribes in Panama. 7. We usually have a cultural Afro tour. So we usually don't go to these native Indian places, which they're beautiful. And we invite you all that live in here in Panama to take a tour to some of our native Indian places. You have the San Blas Island, you have the Embera people, and you have the Nobe Bugles in the area of Bocas del Toro and Chiriquí. It happens that we have 71 legislators, and out of them, if I'm not wrong, 3 of them are from the group of the Nobe Bugles. Almost 7 of our 71 legislators, there are native Indian groups. The native have a different ways to do protests, Charlotte. They really, really feel that they go into a battle. They really feel that they're going to fight. They don't understand about, raising your voice and, protesting in front of the presidential. No, 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 no. They don't know about that. What they know is that the Pan American Highway passed very close to their reservation. So what they do, they block the Pan American Highway. They block the Pan American Highway, and they demand for the authorities to go to that place and respond to the questions or the answers that they expect to have from the authorities. 10 years ago, in the government of President Martinelli, we have a huge protest with the native. The government discovered that Panama have copper, a lot of copper in that area, that is the native Indian reservation. And the president tried to change the law to allow companies to open mining in this area. Of course, this caused a reaction, a very bad reaction by the native group that was there, and they stamped on the Pan American Highway for almost 30 days. Wow. The government committed the mistake to try to repel them, using gas and those things that the police would use, and it turned violent. Wow. Unfortunately, a couple of them died, and a couple of police also died, and the government learned the lesson. Don't push the people like that. Listen to the people. For you all that have been seeing the protests in these last days, is you notice the government haven't put the police and fight with the people. They try to speak with them. They send different authorities to hear what they demanded. And what people demanded, number one, to drop down the price of the gas. We know that the price of the gas, it not depends on us. We know that it's a worldwide thing. You have a situation in Ukraine, you have situation in other places that make the gas or the price of the gas goes up to what it is. But we know that we have received $28 billion. Then why not you, government, use part of that money to control the price of the gas? Because anytime the price of the gas goes up, the medicine goes up, the food goes up, and of course, people don't see money in their pocket as though they used to see before. Yeah. So the first demand of the people was that the government should drop down the price of the gas. I know that the protest is hard because you can't move the way you would like to. If you have appointment, you may reach late. And of course, when you block the Pan American Highway, there is a connection with the people from the farms that, serve the grocery stores in the city that cut right there. So when you go to the grocery store, you may not see the vegetables that you're accustomed to see, you know, the onion, the parsley, the potatoes, and stuff like that, because the road is black. But what the people saying is that the government dropped down the price of the gas, and today you could go to a gas station and you will get the gas in almost $3.25 a gallon, almost
And they
88
dropped that
cents.
down. They dropped it down to 3.25 from what? What was it, Teo?
It was almost $6, Charlotte. If you remember, we
That's
was paying
significant.
over $1.45 a liter. Remember, 4 liter,
Mhm,
4 liters or 3.7 liters give you a gallon. Almost 4 liters give you a gallon.
mhm.
So we dropped down. They put the pressure on the government, and the government accede to drop down on the price. The thing that make the people that protesting so angry is that the government was saying from the beginning that that wasn't possible to do.
Mm.
Oh yes, but you wait 5 or 6 days of protest for then saying, okay, we will drop it down. No, that's not fair. So that's where the people feel that that you disrespecting the people who vote for you and who put you there. That was one of the demand,
Mhm.
was the fuel. The next demand was to the medicines. We have people that are struggling a lot for medications that unfortunately you don't have in the social security hospital, so you need to buy them in a pharmacy, and the price is just so expensive. We take this to the parliament and we try to convince our legislator to vote so Panama could open the gap for you to bring medication or certain medications from other countries where you
Okay.
could get it cheaper. But the big guys, the guys who control the business, they don't want. So the next demand from the people that protesting is that the government find a way to drop down on the price of the medicine. That's very, very important for people.
Mhm.
Right now, the authorities are sitting down trying to negotiate. Okay, is they would do it with all medication, or is they would have a list of medication that they will adjust the prices or change the rule of the game in order for people could introduce those specific medication from other countries. So if you have relatives or anybody that traveling to Panama, they could bring them for you. And the next demand, the third demand was to control the raising up of the price of the food with the
Mhm.
excuse of the fuel. Now
Right.
that they dropped down the price of the gas in $3.25, people
Mhm.
expect that all of those things that was raising up because of the price of the fuel now will go down.
Yes.
Those are
Uh-huh.
very hard things to happen. So
Yes.
now that's what the people are demanding. So the government they running and trying to see what they could do in order to put it on the table for the people that initiate the protest, accept or not the deal, what they coming back. Basically, that's what going on right now, Charlotte, in Panama.
Okay. So they're protesting because, you know, they didn't get the answers and they were kind of upset because the government said no, we can't do this. And everybody is suffering. And I think that from an American perspective, if you think about us as Black expats being here in Panama, $6 a gallon for gas is is expensive. It is very expensive for those people who have higher incomes. So for the average Panamanian at the lower incomes, I mean, that is just absolutely prohibitive as far as them being able to get, back and forth. Now, I do believe that the government at some point gave the cab drivers some leeway. Did they not?
Yes, they give the cab driver, but the price that they give the cab driver was $3.95, almost $4 a gallon for the taxi drivers. Um, but sometimes we don't imagine how much this could affect our business. We who is doing this relocation tours every month, okay, and we have to visit certain places.
Mm-hmm.
We know what it is. You know, the prices of the things that we are paying, they're just going up on us. Um,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Remember, we have almost 400 islands on the Caribbean side, and we have almost 350 islands on the Pacific side. You don't imagine how much people depend to have a boat with a motor in order to move around to these places. And those people are suffering a lot because they
Yeah.
could go with 1 or 2 gallon. No, they need six.
Mm-hmm.
You have teachers that need to travel to schools that there are in areas where the accessibility need to be done by rivers. People are spending $100 more just to pay transportation. I was spoken with Chris a couple days ago about how much people spending today to drive to go to their job every day. So you spend it in fuel between $5 to $10.
Yeah.
See, so it's hard. It's hard. And remember, after the pandemic, yes, we are reopening, but not everybody is working their full 8 hours yet.
Right.
You have people that just work in 5 hours, 6 hours. So imagine with the food increasing, imagine with the price of the gas increasing,
And they're
it
still
make it
working less
hard.
hours.
It make it hard.
Yes. So, like, okay, so somebody is asking, how would the demands of the protesters benefit the economy?
It benefit the economy in a positive way because one more time is we get to drop down the price of the fuel
Mm-hmm.
immediately. Okay, so far people today, I have seen the gas stations today. I don't know if you all was in the street driving around or doing anything today, but I have the opportunity to go to the city today, and I
Mm-hmm.
was driving around and I see the lines in the gas station. People was waiting from
Yeah.
yesterday for the price, the new price applied today in order for them to get a
Wow.
little bit more fuel. So immediately, the response is positive. The economy received an injection because people could breathe a little bit more today
Right.
with the price of the gas, and the expectation is good. We was making a little, survey around. I was listening to some radio programs, and yes, people are concerned about the protest because you don't want, to be holed up for 2 hours or 3 hours in a protest. You really
Yeah.
don't want. But you understand that everybody will like the price of the fuel to go down.
Yes.
Everyone, at least everyone wants that to
Yeah.
happen. So, the bottom line is that yes, they may be upset, but at the end, people realize that as the price of the gas go down, which it happened, everybody received that benefit.
True.
Everybody. Now, the problem that we have is the misinformation or the wrong information that you have been seeing. I have been seeing
Mm-hmm.
people that post and repost things without ask themselves, is this is something that benefit myself,
Mm-hmm.
benefit my business, benefit my country? They repost things to families and relatives out of Panama, and
Yes.
people start to worry. They believe that we have chaos. that
Yes.
photo, that photo of the people that was walking with their suitcases in corridor, there was
Yes.
a car accident that morning
Oh,
right in Costa del Este. And it
wow.
seems to be that the cars was blocking both sides of the road. And you have these buses that we use for the tour, the big buses, with
Yes.
people going to the airport desperate that they won't get there on time, that they will lose their flight. And in the
Oh,
corridor, for those who have used the corridor, you don't have where to turn once you go into that section where you're going
exactly.
over the ocean. So
Yes.
people start to get desperate and they start to walk with their suitcase, and it looked like Armageddon. It looks like
Yes.
like like the day after tomorrow movie. It looked bad. And
I
you
wish I
could
could show that. I wish I could show that picture. But you know, I ain't that tricky. I'm telling you, the photo, somebody sent it to me, and that's why I have you on the call, because people have been sending stuff to me, and I'm like, okay, we need to critically think these things. Okay, we need to think about, does this really make sense? And if this was so severe, and if this was really happening, do you think that you would need some random person on YouTube to be the one that breaks that news to you? Or do you think that that would be international or at least national news that you can find on the TV? So they have this photo of people walking with their suitcases, and then the caption of the photo is like, people are fleeing the country. Are you kidding me right now? You know, and it's like, you see that and you're like, oh my God, people are fleeing Panama. And then you start posting it without critically thinking, without asking for verification. Listen, everything that we see on the internet is not true. And we cannot even, people who have good sense about themselves, Teo, we can't even figure out why people want to create hype and fear and drama. But we have been in this internet thing and this
yeah,
misinformation, fake news cycle long enough to know that you need to verify.
yeah,
You need to verify. And if somebody is telling you, some YouTuber is telling you some mess that nobody else is talking about,
yeah,
come
yeah.
on now. What are they? They're an inside track to the Panama government. Come on now. We have to be smarter than that. And
Yeah.
that is why I have you on this call tonight, because I am not educated enough to tell people, you know, this is hogwash. I need it for you to be able to talk to people about that.
I imagine that you have people that they think that they helping anytime they post something negative that could be happening someplace. They think they helping other people, announcing, don't go there, don't go here. Look,
Yeah.
this is the same situation, Charlotte. Why, when you came to Panama, I sure that you hear people telling you that you can't do nothing in Cologne.
Don't go to Cologne. Don't go to Cologne.
The same situation, because
Yeah.
they see things which they don't understand. They don't
Yes.
take the time to try to investigate a little bit, to ask someone what's going on. Worse, they not even try to ask somebody from Cologne, okay, what's going on.
Mhm.
And they just repeat it, don't go to Cologne, don't go
Yes.
to Cologne. And all of
Yes.
us who have been doing these tours in the last year, we discovered that Cologne is a beautiful place to go,
Yes.
beautiful
Yes.
place to go with a lot of
Yes.
potential.
Yes. And somebody was just saying that, you know, pretty much they're in, I think she said Rio Mar, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
She's in Rio Mar, and they were saying, you know, they're stuck there because the primary roads will be closed tomorrow all day. And she says, I understand the plight of the people. It just so happens to be an inconvenient time for us, you know, power to the people. And again, even with that, verify, verify. You know, I've had people contacting me and saying that, well, my tour guide said that they don't protest on Tuesdays, or they don't protest. What? I mean, how do you know that? You know, they're not going to protest on this particular day. You don't know that. I heard they don't protest on Sunday. Nobody is that much in control. And what I'm saying is that we have access to the better information. And one thing that I also want to address with you personally, you are a tour professional. You make your money, you support your family by being able to travel up and down these roads. So I am sure that the last week with the protest, that this has been an inconvenience for you. You know,
yes, it is.
a comment. You're not here damning the people that are out there trying to make the government see what they need to recognize. You support that. Even though
I'm totally agree. For tourism is a very bad moment. You can't do a tour. You can't complete a tour. Actually, you need to be very brave or very lucky if you could be able to do a tour in these days. So yes, things is very slow for us. But just as I said, this morning I was spoken with two taxi drivers, and they told me like, wow, I'm not making money, but you know what? I support the strike. I support it because we need to do something. We can't be like this. And is this is the only way that the authorities will listen to us? Will make it be like this, one and all. Make it be one and all. So yes, you have a lot of people that understand the situation. I really don't know for how long, but I'm just praying for the authorities to start to be able to answer so we could start
yes,
to get into normal. I saw that they opened last night and they make some of the trucks that was holed up in the protest get to move,
with the
so the people from the
produce and
country
stuff.
get fuel, and the people from the
Mhm.
city also get some vegetables. I feel that the government is not saying that they want to, okay, to
Mhm.
fix to cover all of the demands. They just want the protest to finish. See, and they would try to tricky and play around and to move around. They always do so. They always do it. The problem that we have with this protest, Charlotte, is the Native Indian group. That the Native Indian group, they just see things as simple as black and white. Okay, I want you to give it to me. If you don't give it to me, I'm not moving. So they really need to work with them, talk with them, okay, and try to get down to a point where everybody could feel satisfied.
You're freezing up. So you're freezing up a little bit. So I hope everybody got that. But what I want to say also is this. I think what kind of really confused me is that I saw Americans, African Americans on the group when they seen that Panama was protesting, and they said, you know what? Hey, Panama was on my list, but not no more. I'm not going to Panama. Listen, I'm saying this. We all need to have good information.
Yeah.
But when you are coming from, and I'm saying it, okay? For you to be coming from a country that allowed an insurrection of the Capitol on January 6th with the help of a sitting president and legislative appointed and elected legislative officials, that I just can't imagine how a protest in Panama could scare you to that degree.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how coming from the United States and all of that foolishness, okay, and those people that may never be charged, for the things that they've done, coming from the United States where, Black people are killed, Black and brown people are killed
Yeah.
every day for
Yeah.
so much less than
Yes.
protesting,
Yes.
just for a traffic stop.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, the whole self-righteousness, the whole, US, is the best, and what? I mean, I just really think that we are delusional about what I am a Panamanian resident, and it hurts me to see Panamanians to have to go to this extreme, because I've been here long enough to know that Panamanians are hardworking people. And I've been here long enough to know that I often wonder to myself, how do they survive here?
Mhm.
It's not easy. I've been here long enough to know, as a Black expat, that we need to be very careful about our presence being a hindrance and a hurt to the average Panamanian person, in the sense that we can afford a crisis. And because, Panama is bam, Panama's hitting all the lists, Teo. Panama is like best place to retire. Panama is like number one in the top 5 places for African Americans to Blaxit to. And I just think that we need to constantly educate ourselves on the real
Yeah.
about what is happening in this country, and not add to the problems of the average, Panamanian.
Yeah.
That's what kind of hurts my heart, is I feel that, we could, not intentionally, but be adding to
Yeah.
the and hurt for Panamanians that are, not earning a lot of wages and things like that. I really don't want to be a part of that.
Thank you so much for doing this type of meeting.
Tia, you're frozen on my end.
Are you getting me now?
Okay, I hear you now. You said
Remember that
me.
the people that protested, they're not protesting for personal things.
Mhm.
They protested to low down the price of the gas in the entire country for everybody. They're protested for the medicines, or some medicines could be accessible for everybody. They protested for some of the groceries that we buy,
Yeah.
okay, and we depends a lot, rice, sugar, milk, could be accessible and affordable for everybody. So this make this protest something that included me, included you, it included everyone, even the people that haven't came to Panama yet. This
Mhm.
protest is to help and benefit you. So
Mhm.
anytime you see a post, or you coming up with a post that you know it will be something negative,
Mhm.
remember that the reason of this protest, okay, is to bring benefit to all of us. It may cause me some uncomfortness when I'm
Yes.
driving and I met something going on and I can't advance, I can't move. But remember, the benefit is not for those guys that exposing themselves
Mhm.
in that road. In this case, the protest is for the benefit of all.
Body of everybody. And that is, I think, what we really need to know. Somebody was asking also, is the protest impeding, like, residents that need the food and um, I think that
Could you repeat that question for me, please?
Recording stopped. Recording in progress. Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
Could you listen to me now?
Hold on, Teo, I'm on mute. I'm sorry, lo siento. What somebody was wanting to know was, I mean, and I guess it's a question that really we know the answer to. It's like poor people that need food and medication are being prohibited, are not be able to get it because of the protest. You're on mute, by the way. And is that a fact? Y'all, I'm sorry. This our technology is you there, Tia? You're you're on mute. You're mute.
How? Here we go. No, the answer to that question is definitely no. Panama is still a place where you could live. Remember, you don't have to survive. Everybody, I think, once you have a job, or even if you don't have a permanent job, but you have a side job or an informal job, you should be able to manage yourself. The government continue to give the support of $120 for over almost close to 200,000 people is still receiving that help to help them. This is since the pandemic begins. Since the pandemic begins. The problem is, just as I said, when you go to the Social Security hospital and you receive the service, there are some medication, some medicine that you are not able to get, that you need to purchase. And when you go and purchase them, is where you find that they're too expensive. You can't get me? It's cutting up. So
yeah, you're good. You're good now. Yeah,
so
you're good.
When people go to the pharmacy and try to purchase, they realize that this same medicine is a lot more cheaper in Colombia or in Argentina or in Mexico or even in the US. So this is what make people get so mad. Why can't bring the medicine from those countries? Why I'm not free? I'm sick. I should be the one who decides I want to live or not you.
Yeah.
So those are the things that the people are demanding. And I think this is important for everybody, So I know that you have people that there are economically, good, that they don't depend on much things. That's okay, God bless. But you have a lot of people that you're not poor, but you really depend on the price of the gas. If you have a illness, you really depend on getting a medication in a reasonable price, okay, for you to overcome your sickness and your illness. And of course, you would like to always have enough food at home and feel yourself sometime as a father, as a mother, capable to get food for your family, not to survive, but to live. See, so we love to live. We don't want to survive. See, so the government should respond to us in that line.
I think we need to go ahead and wrap this up because the internet is tired. Okay, the internet is tired of us. But I hope that people have a better understanding of what's happening, because that was the purpose of this call, and I really appreciate your contributions, Teo, to helping us understand. I appreciate you being our help and support on the ground. I absolutely do. I'm not a born Panamanian. I ain't trying to take no Panamanian's place, and I yield, I yield to the experience, and knowledge of Panamanians, especially Panamanians like you who are studied in this. So let me just ask you this before we close. I mean, like, do you think that the government and the Panamanian protesters are getting anywhere close to kind of, making this move forward?
Yes, yes, yes. The answer is yes. I hope that in less than a week we should be able to move free without hearing about protesting. I think um, covering this part of fuel is a big step. The other part is something that we could fix, little by little. And I think that yes, we are getting to the end of the tunnel. And I'm sure that we all will be happy next week,
Okay.
God first. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. And remember, you stop saying that you're not Panamanian. You may be right. You are a Congo, okay, from El Barrio de la Guinea. So you was adopted already by a group. So you stop saying that you are not. So yes, you anytime, and you have the right to raise your voice too. Come on, girl.
I'm a Panamanian. I thank you so much, and I love being here. I appreciate your spending the time with us, and I really hope that this has helped to ease some people's minds.
Thank you.
And I pray that all goes well for the people that are out there fighting for, like you said, for everybody. For everybody, because whether you got coins or not, you are going to appreciate a decent gas price. You're going to appreciate to be able to buy food at a
Yes.
reasonable price. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you. I love you. And I look forward to seeing you on our next tour. And I value you so very much.
Thank you so much, Charlotte. Thank you. Anytime you want. Bye-bye
Okay.
to everybody. Take care.
Thank you, Teo. Bye-bye. Everybody, we're going to sign off now. I thank you so much for joining us. I hope that this has helped you in understanding what is happening in Panama. And if you have any questions, go to reliable sources. Teo Jolly is a reliable source that we can count on. Don't just believe everything you see and hear. We're going to pray that everything can be resolved here amicably within the next week or so. But we just don't want to be, so self-righteous now about, countries protesting and things like that, because the United States is a bit much right now. Okay, and so I'm happy that I'm here. I feel safe here. Like I said, prayerfully, everything will be resolved within the next week, and we all will benefit from the sacrifices of not only the protesters, but the people who couldn't get to work, like, Teo. This has affected a lot of people, and it's not a joke. I saw a video this morning or yesterday morning talking about, oh yeah, they're talking about overturning the government. They want to make this into a communistic country. And that's when I said, no, we need to talk about this, because we're not going to be ignorant like that. We're not going to be ignorant like that. We're not going to believe everything that we see. In the meantime, if you have any more questions, send them to me and I will put them out to Teo and other people in Panama who are following this matter closely, who I trust their opinion. And at the end of the day, I just want us to be educated, and I just want us to know what's going on. And I know that for those of us that are here that don't speak Spanish very well, that it could be a bit intimidating and you could feel a bit vulnerable because you don't really know what's going on. So I hope that this call tonight has helped you to understand and be able to relax a little bit. So I love you, I love you, I love you. There's just nothing you can do about it. And until we meet again, this is Charlotte Van Horn, Black Expats in Panama. It's for the culture, baby. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Thank you all for joining.